being imposed on us, or having imposed on us a kind of monoculture of our minds.
Y si nos imponen el monocultivo en las mentes, quedamos sin defensa alguna.
And if this monoculture of our minds, having a uniform mindset in a sense, is allowed to continue, then we will find ourselves really defenseless.
La madre naturaleza nunca generó monocultivos, siempre generó la gran diversidad que es la riqueza de la madre naturaleza, como la diversidad también es la riqueza de los pueblos.
If we look at nature, we say that Mother Nature, in a sense, Mother Earth, never gave rise to monocultures, always gave rise to tremendous diversity. And that's the wealth, that's the beauty of nature, in a sense. And it is that diversity that we need to be cultivating, not uniformity.
Hay experiencias concretas de esa articulación de las comunidades, de la producción colectiva, con un sentido de vida. Y para esto es necesario despertar a las nuevas posibilidades de vida.
There are lots of experiences, lots of examples, in a sense, that we could give of very collective processes of production, building on the diversity of communities and diversity of natures to make possible life for everyone in the community. And we really need to, in a sense, wake up and see these realities, see these examples that exist in our communities and how we can strengthen them.
Nosotros somos habitantes de este pequeño planeta Tierra. Lo otro es ciencia ficción.
We are all, in a sense, inhabitants of this Earth, this planet Earth. Anything else is science fiction. We all live here.
Yo creo que si hoy los extraterrestres vienen a la Tierra, se asustan y vuelven a irse.
I think if there are any how do you say ETs? Extraterrestrial being, yeah, something like that. If any of them come to the Earth now, and they look around, I think they'll go back, frightened by what they see.
Deben estar viajando por ahí buscando otro planeta más habitable.
They're probably flying around someplace looking for some other place more inhabitable than our own Earth.
Porque realmente se está destruyendo la casa común, este planeta Tierra, con los recursos y los bienes naturales, con la deforestación. Esa es la violencia estructural.
Because if we look around ourselves, what we really have to see and we have to recognize is that our own home, this planet Earth, where we all live, is being destroyed. Process of devastation is tremendous through deforestation, the kinds of production, the kinds of monocultures that are being expanded. This can't continue.
En lugar de dejarnos dominar por el monocultivo de las mentes, tenemos que fortalecer las identidades, los valores, la pertenencia al pueblo del que somos parte.
Rather than allow ourselves, in a sense, to really be dominated by this uniform mindset, we have to look around ourselves and be about the task of strengthening the diversity of identities, strengthening values and diversity of values, and strengthening a real sense of belonging to a whole community that is planet Earth.
Para eso necesitamos recuperar la palabra.
And in order to do this, we also need to recover our capacity to speak, the meaning of our words.
Esa palabra que es energía, que nos da la fuerza de transformación de nosotros mismos y de nuestras sociedades.
We need to recover the power of our words that really are energy, a form of energy that is both internal and that has to do with our communication and our capacity to build together with others.
Porque cuando usan la palabra y la vacían de contenido, es como dicen los indígenas del Cauca en Colombia.
Because so oftentimes, we hear words, and words are sometimes used in a way that really empties them or voids them of their real meaning, their real content.
Dice, la palabra sin acción es el vacío. Y la palabra y la acción por fuera de la comunidad es la muerte.
And like the indigenous peoples of the Cauca in Colombia often say, that words without action are really a vacuum. They're nothing. But words and action outside the community also takes us to death. It means destruction.
Y creo que nosotros tenemos que tener proyectos de vida, no de muerte. Tenemos que tener proyectos de esperanza, porque otro mundo es posible.
I think we all need to have plans and projects for life, not for death, not for destruction. We need, all of us, have an idea and a project, in a sense, for making another world possible.
Y así nos encontramos con muchas comunidades que están con esa visión distinta de construir una nueva sociedad.
If we look around us, we can see that there are really lots of peoples, lots of communities that have an idea, that they have a vision, and they are working every day to build another world that we know is possible.
En esta sociedad en que vivimos, estamos sometidos en el monocultivo de las mentes, a sociedades consumistas. Muchas que creemos necesidades son artificiales, son creadas por el consumismo, no por las necesidades del ser humano y de nuestras comunidades.
In these societies in which we live, in which this monoculture of the mind, this uniform way of thinking is really imposed on us, societies that are really driven by the consumerism, a kind of consumerism that is about the business of creating artificial needs that really don't respond to the necessities and to the rights of people, but are really artificial. Doesn't have anything to do with what people and communities really need, but what others think they need.
Yo soy un educador, sigo enseñando en la universidad, todavía no me echaron.
I'm an educator. I've always been an educator. I still teach at the university. They haven't kicked me out yet.
Y planteamos un desafío. ¿Qué conciencia generamos a través de la educación? En los jóvenes, en los estudiantes, para que puedan tener conciencia crítica y valores para la vida.
And I think as an educator, we face tremendous challenges. And as educators, we really have to be thinking always about the kind of awareness, the kind of consciousness we are building in young people and in students, the kinds of critical awareness that we are contributing to, and the kinds of values that we are helping to build.
Una cosa es ver y otra mirar. Una cosa es oír y otra escuchar. No es lo mismo.
One thing is to look, and another thing, very different, is to see. You know, one thing is to hear, and another very different thing is to listen.
Y tenemos que estar atentos a esas voces, a esas miradas, a esos pensamientos de nuestros hermanos y hermanas en cualquier parte del mundo, porque esto es nuestra casa común.
I think we have to be very alert. We have to pay a lot of attention. We have to search out and really listen to the voices and the looks, the perspectives of people around the world who are working to build that other world. We have to make them part of us and part of our understanding.
Por eso siempre digo que la paz no se regala, no es la ausencia del conflicto, es una conquista permanente de las relaciones del ser humano con la madre naturaleza, restablecer el equilibrio.
And that's why I always say that peace is not something that can be given away. Peace has to be built. Peace is not the absence of conflict, but peace is a kind of permanent dynamic, a process of building and achieving, in a sense, relations, dynamics of balance and harmony, both among people, between peoples, and among and between peoples and Mother Earth.
El equilibrio con nosotros mismos, el equilibrio con los demás, el equilibrio con el cosmos y el equilibrio con Dios, el reencuentro con el mundo que vivimos, el reencuentro con nosotros mismos.
This really means striking and finding or building again a balance among peoples, among communities, with nature, with the cosmos. And this means the possibility of having harmony or balance with God. It really means, in a sense, finding ourselves again, locating ourselves in the midst of the world and the cosmos in which we live.
Y esto es lo que intenta hacer Pijam con los jóvenes, despertar esas conciencias para la paz, para la vida y no para la muerte.
And this really is what Peace Jam is all about. Peace Jam is an effort to work with young people and to help them to build this kind of critical awareness, to be able to look around them in the world and see that they are part of a world, and that being part of that world is how we can build peace and how we can build life for all people. And that those are the choices that young people can make, to work for peace, to work for life, not for death.
No es un proyecto más, es despertar a las necesidades, a la vida, con una conciencia constructiva.
And that means that Peace Jam is not just another good initiative. It's not just another nice program. It really has to do with awakening this very critical consciousness, this awareness that we all need, that we are part of the universe, that we are part of others, and that we need to have relations of harmony and balance with everyone.
Y no hay que perder la esperanza, así que no dejen de sonreírle a la vida. Gracias por escucharme y un fraterno abrazo de paz y bien.
And this is what we all need to be about, awakening that consciousness and building that awareness everywhere, and remembering always that life is here to be enjoyed. So we have to smile on life. So I want to share with you that embrace, that greetings.
Gracias.
Thank you.
No sé cómo va a seguir, creo que va a haber preguntas, ¿no?
I don't know what happens now. Maybe some people have questions they want to ask, or maybe we're going to leave, or
Sí.
what would you like to do?
I think we're ready for questions.
Sure.
Buenas noches, señor Esquivel. Usted pasó mucha violencia. ¿De dónde sacaste toda la paz que tienes?
¿De dónde sacas?
Sacaste toda la paz, todo el amor.
Sí. A ver, la traducción en inglés.
Good evening, Mr. Esquivel. It seems like you went through a lot of violence. Where in the world did you find all the peace and all the love that you have?
Para mí es importante la vida espiritual. ¿no? El día que uno deja de luchar es porque estamos vencidos. En los momentos más difíciles, para mí fue muy importante la oración.
For me, my spiritual life is very important. You know, I think for all people, the day we stop struggling is the day we give up. We allow ourselves to be overcome, to be vanquished. In, you know, the toughest moments of my life, there was always an opportunity and I could always find a way of praying.
Una de las experiencias más duras que pasé fue los primeros días de prisión en Argentina, porque yo soy un preso internacional. He estado preso en Ecuador, me echaron de Chile, de Paraguay, de Brasil, estuve preso 2 veces en Brasil. Así que hemos pasado varias cosas.
I think for me, one of the toughest experiences in my life were the first few days that I was prisoner in Argentina, because I could say I'm kind of an international sort of prisoner. I've been held in lots of different countries, you know, in Ecuador, in Chile, and in Paraguay. I was detained a couple of times in Brazil.
Y voy a compartir con ustedes tengo que poner estas cosas. Los primeros días de prisión estaba encerrado en un tubo, un calabozo muy pequeño, más o menos de este tamaño.
In the first few days that I was imprisoned in Argentina, I was in a very, very small cell, something that's called a tube. It's about, you know, the size of these 2 podiums.
Era un centro de torturas.
And it was a center of torture.
Y en ese tubo había muy mal olor porque habían pasado otros prisioneros por ahí.
It smelled pretty bad in there. You know, there are lots of prisoners who had been there before me.
Cuando teníamos que golpear la puerta, que tenía una pequeña mirilla donde la guardia iluminaba y nos enfocaba a ver qué hacíamos.
And, you know, we had to knock on the door, in a sense, of this little cell. There was a kind of like a little peephole where the guards would shine their lights on us and to see, you know, what was happening inside.
Cuando queríamos ir a un baño, teníamos que golpear para que la guardia nos abra el tubo,
And
la celda.
if we wanted to go to the bathroom, for instance, we had to knock on the door and hope that the guard would come and allow us to go out.
Y entró la luz de un pasillo de la prisión y pude ver ahí en la pared muchas inscripciones, nombres de seres queridos, club de fútbol, insultos de todo tipo.
And one of these days I was there and knocking on the door, and the door opened a moment, and there was a kind of a flush of light so that I could see what was there and what was written on the walls around me. And I could see that there were lots of inscriptions. People had scribbled the names of loved ones, their soccer teams. There were lots of insults, pretty bad insults.
Pero cuando vi una gran mancha en la pared, era una mancha de sangre de un prisionero o prisionera que pasó por ahí antes que yo, de ese centro de torturas.
But I could also see on the wall a huge blotch of blood, somebody who had been through that cell before me.
Y ese prisionero o prisionera escribió con su propia sangre, Dios no mata.
And whoever this prisoner was, I don't know, it was a man or it was a woman who'd been there in the cell before me, with their own blood had written on the wall, God does not kill.
Es uno de los actos de fe más grandes que conozco, ¿no? Que me llegó muy profundamente.
And I think this was an act of faith, in a sense, a confession of faith that struck me very deeply. It has always stayed with me.
¿Cómo no tener esperanza?
How can we not have hope?
¿Cómo no seguir luchando?
How can we not continue to struggle?
Creo que es esto lo que nos da la fuerza.
I think this is what gives us strength.
Hola, señor Adolfo. Yo te quería preguntar ¿qué te dio ¿Por qué quisiste pelear por el mejor en vez de quedarte callado como todos?
¿Por qué?
¿Por qué queriste trabajar para mejorar las cosas en vez de quedarte callado como la mayoría?
Creo que si me quedo callado soy cómplice. Y yo no quiero ser cómplice de las injusticias. Hay que traducirlo.
The young man asked, Adolfo, why did you choose to speak out and work for a better world rather than remaining silent like most